There are no shortages of opinions on the internet. In fact, this YouTube channel is purely my subjective opinion on Fort Collins, Colorado. And yes, we look at facts and figures. We have a team that does a lot of research, but ultimately it's based on my 35 years of experience, born and raised here in Fort Collins, Colorado, and the surrounding areas. And recently, 99.9, which is a radio station here in northern Colorado, put out an article that detailed the hot takes, the opinions, the most popular opinions based off of a Reddit group, subgroup, Fort Collins, Colorado. And what's great about Reddit is, it gives value to people who take time and give insightful comments with upvotes and downvotes. So 99.9 put together this blog post, and I'm going to do a response to these hot takes. So you enjoy, have a consideration. These are opinions from people that either have been from Northern Colorado, live in Northern Colorado, visited, and gave what their opinion is. My name is Patrick Soukup with Soukup Real Estate Services here in Fort Collins, Colorado, and this is the Living in Fort Collins YouTube channel. If you're new, it's everything you need to know about Northern Colorado, eating, sleeping, playing, opinions about Fort Collins and Northern Colorado. Now, we make a lot of YouTube videos and we love doing it. We love providing all the value. In fact, we get a ton of people reaching out, giving us feedback and thanks for all the information we provide. But we are licensed real estate agents in the state of Colorado, so we love working with buyers, sellers, and investors. So give me a call, text, email, and myself or my team will be willing and happy to help you with your transition, sale, or investment here in Northern Colorado. So without any further delay, let's jump into the hot takes of Fort Collins. For a college town, why does everything close at 10 p.m.? Definitely true. If you drive through the town, especially on like a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, especially Monday or Tuesday during the winter, one, there's a lot of businesses that are probably closed on Mondays, but two, nothing's going to be open at past 10 o'clock. It is a college town, but we don't really have the density for a downtown to thrive after 10 p.m. Now, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, especially during the summer, spring, big holidays, it is absolutely a college town and there are college bars. And so you can see the downtown popping anytime after 10 o'clock. All the bars close at 2 a.m. Some close a little bit earlier, but most of them close at 2 a.m. So definitely stay off the roads. And not to say that there's tons of drinking and driving, but stay off the roads after 2 a.m. Hopefully a lot of kids are taking Ubers, driving with friends that are sober. But yes, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, nothing is open after 10 o'clock. Everything east of 287 kind of sucks. I think that's in the eye of the beholder. I think there's some really cool communities. Timnath, Windsor, Severance is growing. Johnstown has some cool stuff. I think this person is just very, very keen or has major preference to along the foothills and west of I-25. Ultimately, I think the further you drive east, the more you can afford. There's maybe not nearly as much hiking that's just right off your backyard, but ultimately, like I said, Windsor, Timnath, Severance, there's some cool growing communities for sure. People treat breweries like dog parks for their kids and just let them run around. Now, since having kids, we actually haven't gone out to many breweries or, spent a lot of time kind of at a beer garden or anything like that to see that be the case. But I can absolutely tell you that from friends' experience, from just kind of driving by and different experiences that I've had conversation with, I think you're kind of on two ends of the table. I think you either go out and bring your kids to the breweries or maybe you do something else. And yes, I can say that kids run rampant and people are just drinking their beers, and it's kind of an interesting dynamic. So I don't have a ton of experience with that, but I can say I definitely see it, especially during the summertime period where people can get out and enjoy those beer gardens, especially the patio at Odell's or New Belgium. This place is where single people go to die. Now, in previous videos, this has definitely been a hotly contested subject, as we've had singles say, absolutely, terrible place to go. Other singles say, this is where I found my wife, this is great, I spent my early 30s here and had an amazing time. So I think it is something to where if you are single and you are not of the college age, if you're 25 to 35 or up to 40 or whatever that might be, and you're single and interested in finding a person to, share your life with, I think it really depends on how actively you're engaging with the community and different groups and opportunities, because I think there's a lot out there. It's just that you have to apply yourself and really be actively engaged in getting out there. Get rid of half the chicken places and add a Popeyes. Well, I'm saying this really as a new chicken place is being built within 400 yards of one of my favorite chicken places, Music City Chicken, and this is going to be another chicken place. There's a lot, Blazing Bird, Chick-fil-A, Music City Chicken. I don't know the name of this place coming up, but yes, there are absolutely lots of chicken places. I love a chicken sandwich. Comet Chicken's a great one in Old Town. I don't personally like Popeyes. This might be an opinion that isn't shared by some who watch this channel. I've only had Popeyes one time in my life, and it was in an airport in Texas when I was on my way to Brazil. It was kind of soggy, so definitely don't want any Popeyes in lieu of some of these better chicken places that are more not necessarily fast food. But yeah, there's probably a little bit too many chicken places, but I'm a big fan of a chicken sandwich. College traffic isn't bad. People are just lazy and don't take side streets or get off the main arteries. And the person who responded to this was like, well, yeah, that says traffic's bad. And I can agree to some point, but we are on a grid system here in Fort Collins. I think that, on College Avenue on a Friday at 4 o'clock, it's definitely going to be busy, but you have some alternative routes. You can take Jefferson that, flows into Prospect, into Timberline, into Ziegler, and literally get from downtown to the southeast side of town in 10 minutes and avoid a significant amount of traffic. But if you're going to take College and then head east on Harmony, especially that Harmony corridor on I-25 and Harmony Road at times of 8 o'clock in the morning and 4:30 in the afternoon, definitely going to be busy. So there are off streets, side roads that can offload some of that traffic. But yes, and Fort Collins is making a push towards public transit, trying to get that daily ridership up, people off their cars, and we are a platinum rated bike community. And so spring, summer, people are definitely riding their bikes more and trying to offload some of that street traffic and get to our goal of carbon neutral. I believe it's by 2050. Definitely one of the less diverse areas I've lived in. Yeah, we've talked about this in previous videos. I think that's one of the things that Fort Collins is. It's a majority of white population. I think close to, there's lots of different numbers out there, but anywhere between 80 to 90% is white here in northern Colorado. A lot of the, I would say, cultural ethnicities are surrounded by the college. I would say that's probably our highest percentage, especially density of, people that aren't white. But generally speaking, I would say, especially since I've grown up here, a significantly more diverse town than when I was growing up here, where, I had two best friends that were both half black, and they were very, they stood out. There wasn't a lot of other black or Indian or Asian cultures. There was definitely some, but the ethnicity diversity here in northern Colorado was very minimal while I was going through elementary and middle school, but is significantly more now. I'm dropping my daughter off at preschool, and there's a Hispanic child, half black child, my child's half black, and this is just in a small preschool class of 10. So I would say that yes, the diversity in Fort Collins is getting better, but obviously still majority white. Here's a good one. I can't believe that people wait in that long of a line for Raising Cane's. I don't know why either. Honestly, I'm not a big Raising Cane's fans, which is another chicken place, so to go on to that list, but people will back up College Avenue for I don't even know, like 20 cars. In fact, Raising Cane's had to add a second drive-through line to offload some of that congestion, and I just don't get it. The next hot take is Raising Cane's is a dry chicken place with good dipping sauce. And again, I don't eat at Raising Cane's all that often, but the desire and demand is clearly there. Tons of, a huge traffic line on College Avenue, and all to get, I guess, pretty good chicken. I don't personally like it, but I agree 100%. Why are people waiting in that line? It does not have the same flow or speed that Chick-fil-A does, or at least to my knowledge, it doesn't. People that constantly complain about drivers aren't as good as they believe they are. Well, yeah, I think we all have a self-confidence level problem. You know, we all believe we're better than we are at probably everything in life. But I can say that there's funny videos out there as far as like, you know, yes, today people are looking at their phones, texting, calling. I think it is absolutely just, it's happening. You know, you hope that it happens less and less. But then there's videos, funny memes out there of people in the 90s, you know, going through their CD cassette case and making a phone call on their brick phone and just really not paying attention. So I think that yes, people are not paying attention with their phones, but ultimately, hopefully everyone's staying safe. We don't get too much road rage here in town. And you, if you are considering moving to Northern Colorado, can contribute to the friendliness and kindness of Fort Collins and the drivers and not come in and get too aggressive and start honking those horns. It doesn't need an In-N-Out. Big Al's is better. Well, In-N-Out is coming to Loveland near a Chick-fil-A, which I think is going to be a huge congestion. But I can say I do love Big Al's. Their 60-40 burger is phenomenal. 60% beef, 40% bacon, awesome. Their Parmesan fries, great. So again, I've been to In-N-Out I think like 5 times, but I've been to Big Al's God knows how many times, way too much. Too much grease in the arteries for me. I'm sure I got to take off a little bit of that. But ultimately, yes, if you are in and around Big Al's, check that place out, especially their 60-40 burger. Too many hippie jam bands. Honestly, I can't talk too much about it. There's some cool venues here in town. Washington's, the Artery is a cool place. The Armory, and there's definitely some good opportunities of music here. And the Lyric, there's lots of different bands and music festivals, but I'm not a huge music person, so can't talk too heavily on that. It is so much better than Boulder. There, I said it. Yeah, but I'm definitely biased. I love Fort Collins, but Boulder is a beautiful community. A buddy of mine just moved there. We went there and visited just a few weeks ago, and it is beautiful. Tons of bikers on the road. That was actually really kind of annoying because I was trying to make a right-hand turn, and I think it was like 2 different lines of like 100 bikers, maybe 50 to 100, but that was annoying. But yes, driving into Boulder is gorgeous. Cost of living is extravagant as far as how freaking much that thing costs. Now, Fort Collins is getting more expensive, but I love Fort Collins. I love CSU Rams. I hate the CU Buffs, but I do like to see Deion Sanders there as the coach because it's just going to be fun. And, you know, go Buffs. I definitely support Colorado, and I hope you guys have a very successful year and season. But that being said, I love Fort Collins, so I'm about it. Walnut and Linden should be pedestrian-only streets. Well, it is a convertible street to where they can shut those streets off and make them pedestrian-only for events and festivals and things of that nature, but it does allow for driving and parking about 98% of the time besides those few days and times that they allow for pedestrian-only. I think parking's a big issue downtown. I think that it is kind of a big place for delivery trucks and things like that. And for driving, getting close to these retails is very nice because the square is something to where if those streets weren't you couldn't park near there, or and you just needed to get into, you know, if you want where a Little Bird Bake Shop used to be, go grab a quick cinnamon roll or coffee. It would take a little bit to get there. So I do like that there is driving there, but it's cool that they allow for pedestrian-only festivals and events. The city has the most robust bike infrastructure I have ever seen, but yet people will drive 2 blocks away. I'm guilty of this, maybe not necessarily 2 blocks, but definitely a mile or 2 miles, especially during the winter time period. We've got a friend that will ride their bike, literally rain, snow, wind, hail. They are riding their bike and have their kids, and they absolutely love it and talks to me about how amazing you can stay off all the roads, all of the trails, and it's an amazing bike system. I myself have tried and have made a video of only biking to work for a week. I live on the southeast side of town, work in Old Town, and can say that yes, it is absolutely possible. A little bit annoying because I do like to go work out in the morning prior to going to work, so that was a little bit difficult carrying 2 bags, but I would say if you have the desire and want, Fort Collins 100% has the means to allow you to be a bike-only person if you wanted to. Greeley is friendlier. There, I said it. I mean, honestly, I've spent a lot of time in Greeley. I boxed in Greeley for about, a year or more, which was every day, 4 hours. It was probably 3 hours that I'm actually training, but an hour, half hour there, half hour back, so 4 hours. I've done fix and flips. I've represented clients in Greeley, but I haven't really spent enough time in the community of Greeley to understand how friendly it is comparatively to Fort Collins, so don't have a ton to say about that. But nice to hear that there's friendlier places for other people to consider besides Fort Collins. It is lame here in the winter. In the summer, Fort Collins is so much better. I am biased right now because it is kind of at the end of our winter season that I'm recording this, and I am ready for spring and summer 100%. And I think the majority of people here in northern Colorado are. I think once we get into the winter season and see some of those first snows, everyone's super excited. We've got Christmas, New Year's, all of the holidays, and people are enjoying themselves. But then we get after New Year's and into like the dead of winter where it's like cold and freezing and snowing and it's annoying and people get tired of it. So yes, I would say like the first half of winter, people are jazzed about it. Second half, people get over it and are ready for spring and summer. It smells just as bad as Greeley on some days. Yeah, there really is some cold mornings or specific wind patterns that carry the JBS Greeley smell to Fort Collins, and especially if you're on the southeast side of Fort Collins, you can 100% smell it. So if you wake up and you walk here like, what is that? Well, that's Greeley that's making its way to Fort Collins. And unfortunately, there are definitely days and weather patterns that carry those smells our way. And our last one, being listed for decades as one of the top 5 best places to live, places to retire, best places in the United States, has ruined Fort Collins. I mean, yeah, it definitely is no secret anymore. The secret is out. Fort Collins in northern Colorado is an amazing place to live, and we are lucky and fortunate enough to live here. And from what we've seen with so many people moving to northern Colorado, generally speaking, they're excited to come and be a part of the community and give back and volunteer and add to and not take from. And ultimately, yes, it's going to continue to grow because it is such an amazing place. Now, there's some people that don't like the wind or like other places better. Greeley is friendlier. Maybe they love Boulder but don't like Fort Collins. Lots of different reasons. So there's always going to be reasons that don't allow people or, really push people to move to Fort Collins. But hopefully the ones that move here have really done their research by maybe this channel, other channels, other information, and come here with an excited mindset to be a part of an amazing growing community. But yes, Fort Collins has grown dramatically from the time that my dad, moved here in the early 60s. My mom, same thing, 60s, and it's just a dramatically different community and town than it was then, but still an amazing place to live. So there you have it, the hot takes of Fort Collins from Reddit that 99.9 put out and I'm responding to. Hopefully that gives you some good information, both positive, negative, and alike of all of things that are Fort Collins in northern Colorado, and helped you a little bit. Again, if you're considering moving here, buying, selling, or investing, give us a call or text or email, and myself or one of my teammates will, jump on a call with you and discuss what that process is. We've helped hundreds of families move and individuals move here to northern Colorado from across the country and world, and really have dialed in our systems and become experts in our field. So reach out if you have any questions. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.